Good morning, children. Welcome back to Ican Physics Academy. Now, in this class, we are going to see 2020 year question, section D, question number 36. அதில் என்ன செட்டியா அப்படின்னா 55/4/1. Okay, let's enjoy the class. Draw the ray diagram showing refraction of a ray of light through a glass prism. Derive the expression for the refractive index mu of the material of the prism in terms of the angle of the prism A and the angle of minimum deviation del m. Okay. இன்னைக்கு என்ன பார்க்க போறோம் அப்படின்னா prism. Okay. அப்ப when a glass is bounded by three surfaces. Okay. So இதான் நமக்கு என்னையா ஒரு glass prism. Let it will be A, B and C. Okay. Now a ray of light I is incident on the face AB. Okay. Now it can be taken as PQ. So what is PQ? PQ is the incident ray. Okay. When the ray falls on the face AB, then it is refracted along QR. Okay. So what is QR? QR is the refracted ray. Okay. Now the ray which is at R is emergent out in the face AC. Okay. Now RS is the emergent ray. Okay. Now at this point Q, we can draw a normal. Okay. Now the angle between normal and the incident ray is called the angle of incidence. Okay. So now it will be the angle of incidence. So PQN. Okay. So in the triangle PQN is angle of incidence. At this point R, we can draw a normal. Okay. So at this place, it makes an angle. Okay. The ray which comes out is the emergent ray. So angle of emergence. So SRN. So in the triangle SRN, which makes an angle of E. Okay. Now this is the normal and it is the refracted ray. The angle between normal and the refracted ray is angle of refraction R1. Here also it's a refracted ray. It is the normal. Angle between normal and the refracted ray is called the angle of refraction R2. Okay. Now the ray which is incident is extended. Okay. At the same time, the ray which is emergent is also emergent. Okay. So which makes angle of deviation. So the angle of deviation is taken as D. Okay. Now the angle between normal and the undeviated ray is called D1 and it can be taken as D2. Okay. Do you get it now? Do you have any doubts? No doubts. Okay. Now we are going to simplify the diagram. So look at this place. Okay. Here we are having two opposite angles. Here it will be I. The opposite side is divided into two. It is D1 and R1. Opposite angles are equal. So angle I equal to D1 plus R1. Now the plus R1 comes to this side as minus R1. So I minus R1 equal to D1. Now it's taken as equation number 1. Now look at this side. Okay. Here also we are having like this. Okay. So this is angle of emergence. Now it's divided into two. One is D2, another one is R2. Once again, the opposite angles are equal. Then the angle of emergence equal to D2 plus R2. The plus R2 comes to this side as minus R2. So E minus R2 equal to D2. Now it's taken as equation number 2. Now look at this place. Okay. Okay. Now it is a D1. Now it's a D2. When it is extended, it is 2. The sum of exterior angle is equal to sum of interior angle. So from that, what we can write? D equal to D1 plus D2. Now it's taken as equation number 3. Now substitute 1 and 2 in 3. Okay. So substitute 1 and 2 in 3. So that we can get D equal to D1. So what is the value of D1? I minus R1. So I minus R1 plus D2 E minus R2. So E minus R2. Now just we can modify the formula. So how we can modify the formula? I plus E minus R1 minus R2. The angle I equal to angle E. Okay. So that can be taken as I. That can be taken as I. So for instead of angle of emergence, we can write yes I. Okay. So I plus I minus R1 minus R2. So minus of R1 plus R2. That is equal to D. Okay. Now it can be taken as equation number 4. Okay. Now look at this triangle. Okay. So it can be taken as N. Okay. So Q, N, R. Okay. So in the triangle Q, N, R, we can get 3 angles. So Q, N, R. It will be R1 and it will be R2. So sum of 3 angles is 180. So that we can write R1 plus R2 plus Q, N, R equal to 180. Now it's taken as equation number 5. Now look at this. So here it makes an angle. So that can be taken as angle of the prism. So the angle of the prism and the opposite angle which makes 180 degree. 180 degree. So how we can draw? Like that we can draw. So it is the angle of the prism. That is Q, N, R. So when we add these two, then it becomes 180. So angle of the prism plus angle of Q, N, R equal to 180. Now equation number 6. Compare 5 and 6. When right hand sides are equal, the left hand sides are equal. In the left hand sides, the Q, N, R is also equal. So at the place of A, we are having R1 plus R2. So that we can say A equal to R1 plus R2. Now it's taken as equation number 7. Okay. Do you get it now? Do you any doubts? No doubt. Okay, fine. So now the angle of refraction R1 equal to R2 equal to R. Then what happens? R1 plus R2 equal to A. So that A equal to R plus R. So R plus R, 2R. So A equal to 2R. The multiplication 2 comes to this as division 2. So that A by 2 equal to R. Okay. Now we can modify the 4. Okay. So modify 4. So I plus I, 2I. So D equal to 2I minus R1 plus R2. R1 plus R2. That can be taken as A. So A. So the minus R1 plus R2 is A. So the minus A comes to this side as plus A. So A plus D equal to 2I. Then I equal to A plus D by 2. Okay. So now we calculated the value of R and I. So from that we can write. Yes. What we can write? Snell's law. So what is Snell's law? The refractive index N. The refractive index can be taken as mu. Okay. That is equal to sine I by sine R. So what is sine I? A plus D by 2. So this formula can be written in three different forms. So how we can write? That is mu equal to sine I A plus D by 2 by R sine A by 2. Okay. So for instead of small d, we can go for a capital D. Then it can be taken as. So mu equal to sine A plus D by 2 divided by sine A by 2. So this is the second form. Okay. அப்ப நம்ம क्वेश्चनல என்னமா கேட்டிருக்காங்க அப்படினா in terms of del m அப்படினு சொல்லிட்டாங்க. In terms of del m, that is angle of minimum deviation position. So for instead of small d, or for instead of capital D, we can write del m. So the refractive index equal to sine A plus del m by 2 divided by sine A by 2. Okay. Okay. So in the diagram, from the beginning, if you want to take del m, then it becomes del m, del 1, del 2. No, sir, I want to take it as a capital D. So it's a capital D, capital D1, capital D2. Okay. Do you get it now? Do you any doubts? No doubts. Okay, now the second question. A ray of light PQ enters on isosceles right-angled prism ABC of refractive index 1.5 as shown in figure. Trace the path of the ray through the prism, that is option A. Then the second question B. What will be the effect on the path of ray if the refractive index of the prism is 1.4? Okay, right. So what is the question? So what is the path of the ray? What is the refractive index of the glass prism? 1.52. But in our question, what is the refractive index for the first question? 1.5. So which is less than. So what happens? The ray which bend and then once again face out. Why? Because the triangle is isosceles. So here it is 90. So 45. Here it is 45. So it makes an angle of 45 degree. Okay. Then refractive index is less than that. So that it moves like this. Okay. So what about the second question? What happens to the ray of light? The ray of light has total internal reflection. Why the total internal reflection takes place? Because in the second question, what is given? 1.4 is the refractive index. Here the glass prism has a refractive index of 1.52, which is less than that 1.4. So 1.4 is less than that of 1.5. So that total internal reflection takes place. Okay. Do you get it now? Do you any doubts? No doubts. Okay. So 36B. Two thin lenses are placed coaxially in contact. Obtain the expression for the focal length of this combination in terms of the focal length of two lenses. Okay. Okay. So 36B. So two convex lenses are placed coaxially in contact. Okay. Now it will be lens 1 and it will be lens 2. Suppose the object is placed at O. So from the O, the ray which falls on the first lens and the refraction takes place. Then it falls on the second one and produces the final image at B dash. So what is lens formula? 1 by f equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. Now it's taken as equation number 1. For the lens 1 or for the first case, the focal length of the first one becomes f1. So the image is obtained at v dash, so that the image distance v becomes v dash. So now we can modify this formula. So what happened? 1 by f1 equal to 1 by v dash minus 1 by u. Now it's taken as equation number 2. Now the image acting as object for the second one, then it produces the final image at this place. So for second case or for second lens, okay. So for second lens, the focal length becomes f2. Okay. The image distance is v. But what about object distance? The object distance is nothing but v. Okay. So how we can modify this formula? Then 1 by f2 equal to 1 by image distance. So here to here. So image distance is v minus object distance. So the object distance is nothing but v dash. So 1 by v dash. Now slightly we can modify the formula. Okay. So 1 by f2 equal to minus 1 by v dash plus 1 by v. Now it's taken as equation number 3. Now we can add 2 and 3. So 1 by f1 equal to 1 by v dash minus 1 by u. The second equation 1 by f2 equal to minus 1 by v dash plus 1 by v. Okay. So when we add LHS, then it becomes 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. Okay. So plus 1 by v dash minus 1 by v dash getting cancelled. So it becomes 1 by v minus 1 by u. So 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2 equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. So what is 1 by v minus 1 by u? That is 1 by f. So the formula can be changed. 1 by f equal to 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. Okay. So this is the focal length of combination of convex lenses when it is coaxially placed. Okay. Now we can go to the second question. B. 36 B. A converging lens of refractive index 1.5 has a power of 10 diopter. When it is completely immersed in a liquid, it behaves as a diverging lens of focal length 50 centimeter. Find the refractive index of the liquid. Okay. Okay. In 36b, which is given the refractive index. The refractive index is given as 1.5 and its power is 10 diopter. When it is immersed in a liquid, then its focal length becomes 50 centimeter. 50 centimeter. So what is the refractive index of the liquid? That is a question. Okay. So how we can relate power and focal length? Okay. First, power equal to 1 by f equal to n minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. Now it is kept in air and when it is kept in liquid. We are having two cases. So I want to modify this formula. Okay. Now what is P1? That is equal to 1 by F1 equal to refractive index of air with respect to glass minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. Now it's taken as equation number 1. When it is kept inside the liquid, so the power is changed. P2 equal to 1 by F2 equal to the refractive index of liquid with respect to glass minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. Now it's taken as equation number 2. Now the equation number 1 divided by 2. So P1 by P2 equal to 1 by F1 by 1 by F2 equal to, here the refractive index of air with respect to glass minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2 divided by the refractive index of liquid with respect to glass minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. Okay. Now P1 by P2 equal to. Now it becomes a reciprocal. So F2 by F1. Now 1 by R1 getting cancelled. So that we can get refractive index of air with respect to glass minus 1 divided by refractive index of liquid with respect to glass minus 1. Okay, so this is the required formula to solve this particular problem. Okay, so this is the required formula. Okay, so P1 by P2. So we know the value of P1. So we have to calculate the value of P2. So how we can relate these two? Okay, so power is inversely proportional to focal length. Now we can modify this one. How we can modify? P2 equal to 1 by F2. So what is the value of F2? 50 centimeter. Convert the centimeter into meter. 50 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter. So 1 by F2. 50 into 10 to the power minus 2. The minus 2 goes to the numerator as plus 2. So 10 to the power 2 divided by 50. So what is 10 to the power 2? 100 by 50. So 0, 0. 1 5 is 5. 2 5s are 10. So power of the second one is 2. So what is the word given? It's a diverging. So for that word diverging, we can introduce the word, symbol minus. So what is the unit of power? This much of diameter. So now we know the value of P1 and P2. Then we can go to this formula. So P1 is 10. P2, that is the value of minus 2. The refractive index of the glass prism with respect to air is 1.5. 1.5 minus 1. We doesn't know the value of this one. Minus 1. Now 1 2 is 2. 5 2s are 10. Okay. So minus 5 equal to 1.5 minus 1. So 0.5 divided by LG minus 1. Now the division value comes to this as multiplication value. Now the division value comes to this as multiplication value. So the refractive index of liquid with respect to glass minus 1, that is equal to, now the multiplication value comes to this as division. So 0.5 divided by minus 5. The minus 1 goes to right side as plus 1. So refractive index of glass equal to 0.5 divided by 0. So plus 1 goes to this side as plus 1 divided by 1. So 1 into minus 5, 5. 1 into 5, 0.5. 1 into 5, 5. Okay. 0.5 minus 5. So it becomes minus 4.5 divided by minus 5. So minus minus getting cancelled. Now, how we can write this one? Refractive index of liquid with respect to glass. That can be taken as refractive index of the glass divided by refractive index of the liquid. That is 4.5 divided by 5. So what is the refractive index of the glass with respect to air is 1.5. So 1.5 divided by NL equal to 4.5 divided by 5. So the division value goes to this as multiplication. So NL, that is refractive index of the liquid. Now this one comes to this as reciprocal. 4 by 4.5 into 1.5. So 1.5 is 1.5. So 3 times. So refractive index of the liquid is 5 by 3. Okay. Do you get it now? Do you have any doubts? No doubts.